Today we're going to channel our inner tech moan and review a piece of technology that is sort of kind of an integral part of who I am. And that particular piece of technology is a 9-band AM/FM shortwave 1 through 7 radio. Now, I've had a lot of different radios over the years. My very first radio that I bought myself was a little Radio Shack AM radio in 90s pink. I listened to that little pink transistor radio to death. It had a little, I ran off of a 9-volt battery, which is almost unheard of these days. And it ran off of the same 9-volt battery for a very long time. But this does not run off of a 9-volt battery. This, believe it or not, has got its own little rechargeable battery, and it runs off of D cells, and it runs off of AC. Let's kind of take a look at the box here. It's got a flashlight, micro SD card slot, USB input, plays MP3s, portable AM/FM shortwave 1 through 7 band receiver, MP3 playback, and it's made in China, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. Let's unbox this thing. There it is. It's pretty much as advertised. It feels very heavy for what I thought it would be. The weight is largely, toward this end. Now, having played around with this previously, we can see that the light works. The battery has a bit of a charge. Although in the manual it says to charge it for 2 hours for a full charge. I tuned around with the shortwave bands. The tuning knob is nice, and it's tight, which is what you want when you're trying to tune in shortwave. You don't really want a sloppy, loose tuning knob. When you're trying to tune in shortwave bands, you want some real fine adjustment, and a tight tuning knob is the way to do it without having a fine tuning knob on it. I have another shortwave band radio. It just has shortwave 1 and 2, and it has two different tuning knobs. One's a coarse tuning knob, and the other one's a fine tuning knob. And those are nice and loose, but this is tight. Feels pretty accurate. I tuned in a couple of FM stations, and I tuned in a shortwave station out of Miami earlier this evening, and I was able to really get that tuned in tight, and it stayed in place. Now, I was not able to get the memory card to work at all. That seems to be a common issue on players that have just a simple MP3 player. Let's stick I'm going to stick a USB drive in here. Switch it to USB. And it just starts playing right away. It does get quite loud. It has an auxiliary in and a headphone out. So you could potentially, these two work at the same time, so you could potentially use this almost as an amplifier. And it does output through the headphones in stereo, even though there's only one speaker. And the speaker admittedly isn't, it's kind of cheap. It doesn't have huge frequency response, but let's play something a little more familiar. All right. So the let's talk about some of the build quality. This plastic actually feels, the only way I can describe it is very Bakelite-esque. Like if you were to, it feels like it's a tough plastic, but if you were to drop it, I'm sure you'd crack it and chip it and that type of thing. But it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart in your hand. I'm sure it's not Bakelite, and once I'm going to open it up here in a second, and we'll see if we can see the mark for, you know, see the tool markings and see what kind of plastic this is. But yeah, battery AC adapter. Well, it's actually just a power cord plug-in. So the transformer is likely inside this because it runs on 4.5 volts. And here's the power cord. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be fairly easy to take apart this antenna, even though it's it's plastic wrap. It's kind of cheap. Looks like it would be very easy to replace. And it's designed to be replaced. I appreciate that kind of detail. Let's go ahead and take this apart. Looks like just 4 screws. We might have to pop the antenna off. It looks like it'd be a number 1 screwdriver. Yeah, very simple, pretty standard antenna there. So if we were channeling Techmoan earlier, are we channeling Ben Heck Hacks? Maybe we're still channeling Techmoan, I'm not sure. There goes the lens. There we go. So yeah, there's the AC transformer. This must be the rechargeable battery. Switch for the light. Speaker, it's an 8 ohm, 3 watt speaker. It doesn't have a lot of reflex to it. So it's kind of it doesn't have a real wide range or deep bass or anything. It's just kind of what you expect out of this type of thing. Looks like it'd be very easy to repair. There's some surface mount things, but wires and plugs, and so far I've been pretty impressed with how well thought out this was. This switch here is actually so you can switch it from 110 to 240 volts. So you can really plug this in using a standard power cord anywhere in the world. Yeah, the 110 and 240 volt switch is right there. There's shortwave radio stations all over the world. Now, admittedly, a lot fewer than there used to be. Shortwave used to be the thing if you wanted to reach people around the world, because what they do is they can bounce signals off of the atmosphere and transmit over a wide area. It kind of looks like inside it looks kind of like polystyrene, but with the the outside feeling the way it is. Maybe it just is a simple polystyrene. Feels a little better than that. It feels a little more robust. 6.42 volts. So let's go ahead and put this back together. There we go. Let's throw a couple batteries in there, and just for the heck of it. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure what's going to power it. Is the rechargeable battery going to power it? Is that going to kind of override? I don't know. But a couple of cheap batteries, and why not? All the weight is in the back with the transformer and the battery pack. This front part with all the electronics and the speaker, that didn't really weigh a whole lot. But very easy to work on if I needed to. It would be nice to see a few less surface mount parts in there. Could I fix it? Yeah, if I needed to. Let's go ahead and plug this in. Might as well charge it as long as we're here. Is there any battery indicator? No, it doesn't look like it. It's like the MP3 player light is about as bright as it was before, so no matter how you're powering it. But yeah, the buttons themselves, these little chrome-plated pieces of plastic, they feel okay. They're clearly pieces of plastic pushing other pieces of plastic. And the switch here, it works. All in all, this kind of polished Bakelite look and feel is quite nice. It makes it feel a lot more substantial than what it is. And the attention to detail on as in terms of serviceability and ease of use and compatibility, I'm quite frankly impressed. And there's Chaz and Ginger, sort of the Americanish looking people here.